Lord, thank you for this time together. Thank you for the power of prayer. Lord, we don't ever want to underestimate the fact that prayer changes things. Lord, you're a God of all power. And so thank you, Father, that you are with us and you are with Israel. And we want to raise our gaze and stand as watchmen on the wall in the faithful place of intercession. Thank you. Thank you. I want to make everyone aware of the fact that we talked about the strike on the Hamas leader in Tehran, so the two different capitals that were reached, and so he was taken out, as we know, including, by the way, the fact that this bomb was planted in that room. Check that out, 2 months earlier. Very, very incredible intelligence on the part of Israel to be able to do that. And then the Hezbollah leader was taken out in Beirut just earlier. So Iran, the country, has obviously said that they are going to retaliate. And so I'm just going to read to you what the U.S. has been saying, that the Pentagon said that Iran and its proxies will launch a large-scale attack in Israel in the next 72 hours. And senior Pentagon officials say the U.S. has deployed at least 12 warships into the Middle East, including the USS Theodore Roosevelt, amphibious combat teams, and more than 4,000 Marines and sailors. So I'm very glad to hear about the U.S. sending this level of help. But I'm really happy to have Ayelet on. Ayelet's been on with us before. She's from Yad HaShmona. You want to put it, I'll put it in the chat too about Yad HaShmona and how we can support them and bless them. But Ayelet is the daughter of Aryeh Bar David, who some of us know from Israel. And Ayelet, you're just like this perfect person to have on today because you have kids, and we're praying for your kids by name, by the way, just so you know, in our weekly prayer points that go out. Your kids in the IDF are named there. But can you just to, obviously we're praying to the Lord, but tell us what's going on from your perspective, or what is the mood even in Israel in terms of this level of threat coming from Iran? So over to you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Israel is in shock and in awe of what happened. Of course, we all responded with quite, I can say, great joy. We know Ismail Haniyeh for many years. I remember his face on the Israeli news all the time. I mean, he used to speak, he used to threaten. There are lots of murders and terror attacks that are named after him and known that he planned, and he did. So this is a major killer, how do you say, arch enemy of Israel. And many times people are very much, they cannot understand this man looks so civilized and the beard so well groomed. All of Hamas people are like that. They don't look like, like Afghanistan people in the mountains. It's not that look. It's a very slick and evil look. He's a billionaire. They've been taking and stealing money from the citizens of Gaza for years and years. He's a billionaire. He's far more rich than anyone else. Everyone knows about it. So the fact that Israel was able to get to him in Iran and in a territory that is completely protected by the Iran regime. I mean, this is the top security of Iran is quite amazing. And as you said, today on the news, everybody's speaking about the 2 months ago, the bomb was planted. So there was like this cry of joy, and a lot of people were very happy. Even here at Yad HaShmona, people were like, wow, finally we get to these people. But immediately after, it doesn't take long that we realize that it's a call for war. And we knew that that's the meaning of it. Israel declared for a long time that it wants to completely cut down Hamas leadership. But as far as Iran is concerned, and Lebanon and Hezbollah, that's a declaration of war, and this is the response today. So I'm on the teams of all the villages around. As you know, we are on the way. We are located about 15 minutes from Jerusalem and about 45 minutes from Tel Aviv. All the area where we live is kibbutzim and moshavim, villages, towns, small towns, and all the people are talking about what to do now, emergency situation, having all the bomb shelters open. Of course, we do that since the 7th of October. make sure that people have water at home, extra water. Israelis
Wow.
taking into account that they might try to hit. This is the Israeli intelligence information that comes on the titles, is that they will
Yeah.
try to hit the main electric station of Israel. And that means we would be without electricity. And then,
Wow.
of course, everybody can be without electricity for a few days. But if you have people, on special needs, hospitals, children stuck in school, things like that, so even at Yad Shmona, we're talking now about getting another electric generator. Many villages are talking about that.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of implications. Look, we have soldiers in Gaza. We have a lot of soldiers in the northern border. The northern border of Israel been under attack, a missile attack for a very long time. So
Wow.
the scale is growing, and it's not a, it's a difficult feeling.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we knew it's going to happen. We knew it was coming, and as you said, we do not underestimate the power of prayer.
Yeah. Wow. Exactly. I'm just coming on, but I want you to carry on in a minute. But some are just coming on a bit late, and so just to say that the bomb that was planted 2 months ago, which was the one that took out this Hamas political leader. How do you say his name? Ishmael. Do you know?
Ismail Haniyeh.
Ishmael. And
Haniyeh. Yeah, that's how we call him in Hebrew. And,
I mean, incredible. Think about the robbery, not of lives, which is more important, but the robbery of money. Now, Sarah, just jump in there really quickly. Sarah, you said something about the billions. Go ahead, and you
Yeah,
can.
my understanding is that the net worth of the top 4 Hamas leaders, which of course at the top or near the top would be Haniyeh, combined 4 people, $11 billion.
yes,
That's
while
just
their people starve. So
exactly.
wow. And what you go ahead.
Yeah.
I wanted you to keep going, because so the electric, so our prayer points are going to include, of course, may the Lord do what he did before when Iran sent missiles into Israel and take them out. But the electrical grid, that's very important, obviously. That's what there is. I heard about that before. There's a real concern about that. And what about how is it for food in Israel? Is everything flowing? Because I know that the farmers have been affected.
That's
In the
true.
Gaza region, the farmers have been affected even by their workers being out there in the IDF, or they're in the reserve and they're serving. So just tell us what the situation is like
Yes,
there.
you're right. Most of the farming area of Israel, the agricultural area, land of Israel, is close to the borders. It's down in the south near Gaza Strip. The whole, what we
Yeah.
used to call Gush Katif, and all the villages around Gaza, it's agricultural kibbutzim. They have lands there. So much is growing there. Same thing in the north. And yes, we already had the problem before, because a lot of the workers are, of course, they're Israelis, but also from Thailand and Palestinians. Now, think about it. There are, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians that used to enter Israel every single day and work everywhere, work everywhere. So now their economy is going down. Our economy is going down because we don't let them in. And even at Yad Shmona, we used to have builders from the Palestinian village very close to us. The Palestinian village is Bidu, another one Katane. We had a team of workers that's been working with us for over 25 years, and none of them can come in.
Wow.
And it affects all of them. So the agriculture was already affected. So now with the situation, of course, we're talking about, even a greater effect. Of course, Israel is importing food from everywhere, but we already see today in the Ynet titles, in the news titles, they're already speaking about countries that are saying that they will limit the export of goods to Israel. And England is already threatening, for example, not to sell weapons to Israel and other stuff, which in the past they didn't do. So America, I mean, just like the prophecies say, we have no doubt that America will stay the one ally of Israel, will stay alone, and so that's a big thing. And as of now, as you said, it's been in the Israeli news titles as well that America sent 12 warships to Israel, so to the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes,
that's a big thing.
that's incredible. I have somebody on
the weapon embargo against Israel is a very big thing, because at
you
the
know,
end,
that is something we want to pray about. I'm so grieved that this UK election, which happened recently, with the UK Prime Minister having a Jewish wife, and he is the one at the helm saying that we're going to cut off the ammunition. I also saw that Israel themselves are producing more and more ammunitions within the country.
that's true. That's true.
Because their level of obviously intel or
We always say in Israel that every crisis ignites the Israeli invention and
exactly.
spirit. It's always like that. There is
Yeah.
something about Israelis, when something goes bad, the invention levels are rising. We actually have somebody, even at Yad HaShmona, he's an engineer and he's working for a weapon company, and he says it's amazing. Like, Israel is so innovative. Again, it's not an easy thing. We all know that metal comes from other places and all that. Israel is not a producer of metals and things like that, but yes, there is spirit of innovation.
Really comes, but like God, our eyes are on you. Janice is asking, where is the main electrical station, or are they scattered throughout the nation?
There are a few, but the main one is in Hadera. The city of Hadera has the main one. Israel is small, I think many times people don't realize how tiny Israel is. And by the way, we don't have in Israel what you have, and that is private electrical stations. We don't have that.
Okay.
We have one that is the country, the state's Chevrat HaChashmal Israel, the state electric company, and so they're the producer.
Gotcha.
That's something that will have to also be split in the future.
Okay. And we've been praying for your family, your kids. Could you just tell us how they are doing? And your daughter recently got married, but then they had to go back into the IDF, as I understand. Just give us an update on them, and then give us an update on Yad HaShmona itself. You've had a lot of, the guest houses, the hotel has been full of people from the south, as I understand. Just give us an update on your family and on Yad HaShmona.
Okay, so our daughter Achinoam, she's an officer at the Air Force, and she's been working a lot with the Air Force. They fly a lot above Gaza. One of her main things is to take care of the fact that we don't hurt civilians. That's one of the main things. Israelis put so much effort in the intelligence gathering information that civilians will not be hurt, and only military targets. But now, and she's also a student. Hopefully she wants to go to vet school. So as of now, she's also a student, so she's been juggling a lot. Her husband, Oria, is also just finished engineer school, and he's also doing a lot of reserve service. Now, these are people that are out of their duty military service. They're on reserve. But now, because we're in a war, the government can call them into reserve duty as much as they want. Okay, during an emergency situation, they can be called in all the time. That puts a lot of, not just them, a lot of the young people of Israel. That's quite a heavy load when you're being called to do reserve duty again and again. And you leave your job, the bosses get angry at you, you lose material on the university, but that's what happened. So her husband is now up north, near Metula. Our son, Jonathan, who's also an officer at one of the combat units, he's in Gaza, he's going in and out of Gaza. Lately, in the past, he was for months in Gaza without coming out, with no communication, no phone or anything. Now they're going for 4 days in, and then they come out. And then they go in for another 5 days, and then they come out. Okay. And it's a very difficult thing right now. It's very hot down there. The service is difficult. He says that there is this, he says that it's a very difficult war to, when he describes it, and he's a young man and he doesn't know a lot about history, it sounds a little bit like the Americans in Vietnam, where you move, but you want to move, but you don't move. You're kind of stuck in the place. And because Israel doesn't want to create an escalation, the soldiers feel that they don't do enough. So he says, we don't do enough. We're kind of standing in one place, and the terrorists are coming out of the, how do you call it?
The tunnels?
The tunnels, coming out of the tunnels and shoot missiles all the time, which is a very difficult thing to see, or as soldiers. I can definitely say when he comes home, and he does come home every few weeks, every month we see him,
Yeah.
he's much more agitated. I can see, especially at night.
Oh, wow.
But not only him, a lot of the soldiers. And the believers in Israel are trying to do a lot for these soldiers, if they can, to bring them together, even for 2 hours of fellowship and sharing and prayer time and stuff like that. So the believers will be connected, and that they will be encouraged, because over time, we're into this thing now for 10 months, almost 10
Yeah.
months. It's difficult. It's a drag. So to
Yeah.
really make them, to stand strong, firm on their faith.
Wow.
And Yad Shmona still has evacuees. We still have evacuees with us from the south, about 20 families from the south, and a few more families from Kiryat Shmona. Kiryat Shmona is
Does
up.
Cheryl ever do networking here?
Oh, sorry. Can you make sure you're all muted, please? Please mute your phones. Melda, please mute. There we go. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry
So
about
the
that.
government now wants to limit the amount of evacuees that are not in their homes, because it costs the government quite a lot of money.
Oh, okay.
So the people that are with us needs to go back to their kibbutzim down in the south.
Oh,
And some of them are very much afraid, but they have to go back. The government already limited it by the middle of August, they will be gone. But with the
wow.
situation right now, we don't know if a new wave will come from the north, you see?
Oh, I see.
Because
Right.
there are a lot of evacuees from up north, mainly in the Tiberias area. So we might have, and not only that, no tourism, no flights are coming into Israel. So in a way, the fact that at the moment we can provide shelter for evacuees, and the government even pays a certain portion, that's good for us. Even it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
It's good for our place, for the livelihood of the people, and they're very happy with us. The evacuees at Yad Shmona are very happy to be here.
Oh, I just want to say to everybody listening, Yad Shmona is a piece of heaven on earth. Like it really is. I go there and I start weeping. There's how many of you are at Yad Shmona? I was trying to remember.
65 families. 65 families live at Yad Shmona.
65 families. Okay. And so there's this incredible community, biblical gardens, guest house, beautiful restaurant. And it's gorgeous because you're overlooking like these hills that are surrounding Jerusalem. So anyways, everyone, I want us to really take this to heart, because I have a daughter hiking mountains, okay, in Montana and national parks. And I'm praying for her, I make sure she had bear spray. And then I'm thinking, how is this compared to the moms like Ayelet praying for the kid in Gaza? They're one that's in the IDF. And so I just feel like this is something that the Lord is putting on us. 2 quick other comments. We want to continue to pray for the Israeli athletes. This in Paris. This has been
that's right.
We want to make sure there's no repeat of Munich and just the craziness that's part of the Olympics. There's obviously good, and I just got a friend of mine from LA. They're there. They were doing a house of prayer right in the middle of Paris, and they're seeing people come to the Lord. They're seeing incredible things. So there are people. There's a lot of Christians and believers that are there as well. But I also wanted to mention about this time, and Ayelet, quick comment from you, last one, then we'll pray. This time of this between the 17th of Tammuz to the 9th of Av, as known as the dire straits or whatever. And what we've been praying is that instead of being this time of great mourning and remembrance of so many atrocities, and we're very sorry for that, that there could be a turnaround, and I feel for all of us, even that we fast on that 9th of Av, which that's the sundown of August the 12th into the August 13th. So keep that in mind, that we want to see a turnaround. To comment on that, about this period of time that we're in.
It's a time that the religious people are keeping, usually. It's 3 weeks, just like you said, between the fasting of, it's called in Hebrew, the Shiva Asar B'Tammuz fasting, which is considered the date in which the walls of Jerusalem were broken into when Second Temple was destroyed, and Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av, 3 weeks after, is the fasting that the Jews are doing for the destruction of both temples. if you remember, it's something to get into a bit. I find it very interesting. Both temples were destroyed in very similar dates. And actually, this is why the Jewish people are fasting in those 3 weeks in between, that God will rebuild the temple of Israel, because we don't have a temple. And you see a lot of religious people taking it very seriously, fasting that Israel will not be destroyed again. You know, together with the destruction of the temples, the Jews went into the diaspora. Second temple, we were out of this place for 2,000 years. That's a major thing. So those 3 weeks, people are fasting, religious people are fasting, and I had some wonderful conversations with people about that. Some of them are fasting part-time and all that, but they're aware of how destructive things can get without God. See? And I find that to be like time of like spiritual openness among them. Okay. And it's a very important time, I think, and we have to be constantly to speak out about Yeshua, about God's plan, about the fact that he in his time he protects Israel, and that he will build the temple again. I mean, you know, it's not something we speak about on a daily basis, but it's very clear that God will build his kingdom again in this country. And we need to put our trust in him. And I find it to be an amazing time for testimony, really.
Wow, that's very good. All right. Well, wonderful. I'm going to stop the recording.